This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners making 5, 6 figures, 7 figures. Money is less important. It's more about where they share their wisdom. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because transforming possibility leads to reality. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Eddie Smith, and I help businesses reach the audiences that they need to reach using platforms like social media and digital media. And then I help them not only take those people, but nurture them and turn them from cold or warm prospects into paying clients.
Absolutely love it. Very succinct, very to the point. I love it. Question number 2. Eddie, what's the best thing about being in business?
Best thing about being a business is the contribution that you get to give to your community and to the people that you're around. They always say like the top's so lonely, but it doesn't have to be lonely if you build your own building and bring everybody up with you, right? So then it's one cohesive piece. And, I grew up super poor. So everybody around me nobody was starting businesses. And that's part of the reason why we were all super poor,
I love it. I also love that you said cohesive in there and contribution to powerful stuff, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing that. Question number 3, zipping right through it. We hear from other business owners, and even during this time, so those of us in the digital space or who have been here for a while, right, we're hearing from people that they're just getting so much business that the chaos sometimes causes overwhelm. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, completely. A lot of people like to toss around this term scale, and I want to scale, but the problem is, and I've experienced this in my own businesses, is when you scale too fast or you scale without the proper systems or processes, you'll have this immediate spike, but then it'll be followed by this huge valley, and the valley is because you broke your business. Now, my fiance hates this. We both own businesses, and she's like, no, quit trying to break things. But I feel like when you do break it, you learn that lesson that you need to set up these systems and these processes, and it makes a big difference. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I've experienced it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's systems and breaking stuff. I totally relate to that. Actually, pressure tests is something that I was exposed to when I worked at Amazon. So you didn't know that, but we used to do pressure tests, like break it, push it as far as it'll go until you can break it. So I love hearing you say that, man. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Question number 4, zipping right through it. We're going to get to some value here in just a minute. Stick with us. What other successful business owners like yourself, Eddie, of course, should be on the Unlimited Wisdom Podcast?
Yeah, you should definitely reach out to, there's so many zipping through my mind. I'm going to say Jeff McPherson. He develops platforms. Right now he has a platform called Direct Heroes, and it's an Instagram CRM / messaging. Think ManyChat meets Zendesk meets ActiveCampaign, and there's plugins, and it's really changing the way that people market on Instagram. I would interview my attorney, Jim Hortzman, because that dude is so smart. We talk about the online space a lot, but I am so grateful to I played high school football with him, so I got really lucky, Well, I'm so grateful for his limitless knowledge. He's just so smart, so smart, brilliant. And you should definitely interview my good friend Chandra Brooks, because she's a woman, but man, she's a powerhouse. She's one of my clients, but I watch her testimonials, and because I do her marketing, and I read the messages that she gets through her messaging, because I handle all her backend automation and all her text message marketing and email and Facebook ads and stuff. And I read what these women say, and I'm just like, wow, And she does a lot for her community and for women, and I think that it's really important to highlight that.
Love that. As 2 dudes on this podcast, it's great to hear that, because serving women is fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for the diversity there too. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I've got 4 daughters, so women need to be represented.
Nice. So as part of the inside, then you got it down, I bet.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. Question number 5. Let's get to the crux of this. Let's get to some wisdom and sharing some value, right? As everybody says, just said everywhere nowadays. What piece of wisdom, Eddie, would you share with other business owners?
There's a lot to be learned from other people's success and failures, right? If you can learn from somebody else's failures, you don't have to necessarily experience those failures yourself. You learn from somebody else's successes, you can vicariously live through their successes and reverse engineer or deduce their success. But a lot of us, and I was one of these people, were like, oh, I wanna be self-made, I wanna do it myself, I wanna be original and this and that. And like I've been reading this book by Questlove from Roots about creativity. Like we can still do that, but Quest put it really, really good when he said, you might go out and you might want to sound like Pink Floyd, but when that's your inspiration, but when you're like actually making music sound more like Led Zeppelin, neither are bad, but you have to realize that like we're all influenced by something, so you might as well be influenced by success than influenced by your like environment, because your environment, odds are, no disrespect to my neighbors, but they're not living the life you want to live.
I love it. And you set some pretty big shoes there too. So if we're to reach the success of Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, like we got some work to do, right?
Well, yeah, Quest, he was talking about like musicians, obviously, but like he was saying like say like Pink Floyd, you're like, oh, I love Pink Floyd, and you create your band and you're playing, you might sound like Led Zeppelin, and you might not even intentionally do that. But the fact is that even when you try to be original, like you're not, because someone else has done it, you know?
I'm so with you. This is a great conversation. I love this. We could go on forever about this. There's a lot of speakers in my space, and I remember Jim Rohn saying, like, Jim Rohn was mentor to John Maxwell and Tony Robbins and like all these people, right? And I remember him saying, like, find somebody, find a model, but then just go make it your own.
Yeah.
It's just influence is exactly what you're saying here. Is what I hear. It's like just be influenced by them, but then just find yourself. So I
Yeah.
love it. That's awesome. I'm grateful to hear you say that. Thanks for sharing that, Eddie. We're gonna switch gears here for a second. Not that this wasn't all fun, but we we work to live, not live to work, right? That's part of being an entrepreneur, part of the freedom. So what's the most fun vacation you ever had?
Yeah. The most fun vacation I ever had, it wasn't actually a vacation, it was a weekend with the guys. It was a long weekend after like was after school, or it was like one of those long weekends in college. And oh, it was the 4th of July. What am I saying? It was the 4th of July. And we went to my buddy's house on the lake. And I had a business at that time. Or no, I was just starting my business, my first business at the time. Uh, I was in college, had jobs and stuff, but like it's probably the most relaxing 3 days I can remember in a long time. you know.
Nice.
And we were just literally just hung out on the lake all weekend, and that was it. And I think that's the best vacation, is the one where you don't think about anything besides what you're actually doing.
I love it. I agree. Those are some of the best kinds, just relaxing, hanging out. Very, very cool. Eddie, thank you for investing the time to be on here. And when somebody watches this and they're like, oh, I got to get in touch with this guy, man. I really relate to him. He resonates with me, right? How can they reach you? What's the website or social media, or what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Yeah, I would go message me on Instagram. It's OG Eddie Smith. That's OGEDDIE SMITH on Instagram. And let me know you came from this show, and let's talk.
Love it. Absolutely love it. This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners making a ton of money share their wisdom and create impact globally. Thanks for joining us.